Henodus. This placodont lived in the late Triassic period. It lived in fresh and brackish waters, like shallow lakes. It was likely an herbivore, and ate by scraping plants from lake bottoms. Despite its shell, it was not closely related to turtles, but a member of the plesiosaur order. Its most distinctive feature was having a single tooth on the right and left sides of its mouth, along with its sharp, beak-like jaws. Bowers parrotfish. This fish can be identified by the striking pattern of orange spots behind its eyes and the orange lines on its dorsal fin. An herbivore, it nibbles algae off of rock. The chewed rock then becomes white sand, making up part of the beaches near coral reefs. At night, it wraps itself in mucus to sleep. Red barracuda. This barracuda has a small head, large eyes, and a wide mouth. It swims in shoals in shallow parts of the open sea, preying on small fish with its sharp, canine-like teeth. Some specimens can grow to be up to 50 centimeters in length. Samurai squirrelfish. Although the name sounds impressive, this fish doesn't resemble samurai or squirrels. Instead, it has a long, narrow, bright red body with a two-pronged tail fin. It also boasts striking white markings along its fins and tail. Red-spotted blenny. This fish lives in cracks in rock or coral and sticks its head out from its nest to survey its surroundings, moving its neck as if nodding agreeably. Its face and mannerisms make it popular with divers. The antennae-like protuberances above its eyes are referred to as cirri. Transmission from HQ, unusual biometrics. When you're chicken grunt. A medium-sized saltwater fish of an olive-brown color, inhabiting shallow reefs and areas with seaweed. When it is young, it has a white belly and stripes on its back, but as it grows, these fade. It feeds on zooplankton and small crustaceans. Great white shark, leucistic. This variant is pure white, unlike other great white species which tend to be gray and white. This is called leucism, and is a condition in which body hair, feathers, skin, etc. turn white due to a decrease in pigment. Several specimens of pure white, great white sharks have been discovered in recent years, and it's likely that this species has undergone a similar mutation. Japanese jack mackerel. This fish has spiny scales running from the rear half of its body to its tail fin, but their function is unclear. To escape the attention of predators such as tuna, it uses protective coloration. Seen from above, it blends in with the water. Seen from below, it blends in with the water's surface. Threadsail filefish. This species lives in shallow, sandy habitats and feeds on crustaceans and mollusks. The male has a thin, thread-like second tendon on its dorsal fin, so it is easy to distinguish it from the female. Because of the species' sharp teeth, anglers trying to catch it often end up with cut lines. Pacific saury. This migratory fish travels in large schools, consuming plankton, crustaceans, small fish, and even fish eggs. It does not possess a stomach, so the waste from food it consumes does not remain inside it for long. Thanks to the fish's skittish nature and short lifespan, it is difficult to raise or keep in an aquarium. Chum salmon. This fish lives all over the world, commonly found in many rivers and oceans. It will migrate in schools and reach maturity over the course of 3 to 5 years. When its breeding season arrives, it will return to the river where it was born. During breeding season, the upper jaw of the male extends over the lower jaw, giving it a crooked snout. Sockeye salmon. This red-bodied fish spends a few years living in freshwater before migrating to the open ocean, where it subsists on a diet of zooplankton and small fish. A sockeye salmon and a kokanee salmon are closely related, but while a sockeye salmon will spend most of its life in salt water, a kokanee salmon prefers freshwater. All targets have been scanned and the mission is complete. Well done. Transmission from HQ. A very large source of strange biometric signs has been detected nearby. We are sending footage from the drone closest to the site. That ringing sound is concerning. We've observed strange biometric signs in the vicinity of the subject, so let's take a closer look. Confirmed. It's a huge ichthyosaur with a very distinct pattern, and there is no doubt it is the source of the ringing we detected. It appears that something resembling bubbles is being produced whenever the sound occurs. Please scan the creature and transmit any new data. Transmission from HQ. It seems this UML is a close relative of, we're calling it the Grand Ancestor. It's quite something. With time, we may be able to Grand Ancestor. One of the unique species only found in the undersea. It is believed to be closely related to the Basilosaurus, which lived during the Paleogene period, but this has not been confirmed. If it is, it's possible it is the evolutionary midpoint between the Basilosaurus and modern whales, so some call it the Grand Ancestor. Most members of the Basilosaurus family possess a long torso, and this species, with its long, patterned torso, is no exception. It also has a blowhole on the top of its head, and it uses it to breathe, sing, and blow bubble rings. Anomalocaris. This arthropod lived during the Cambrian period. It had a mouth filled with large and small teeth arranged in a radial pattern, and its eyes contained around 16,000 lenses. Much like a dragonfly, which has 28,000 lenses in its eyes, this creature had excellent dynamic vision. It was once believed to be the strongest and largest predator of the Cambrian period, but this theory has since been debunked. Double-mined mackerel. This large fish is a close biological relative of the Japanese Spanish mackerel. It gets its name from the two lateral lines that run across its body and merge near the tail. Its body is flat and spindly. Gungnir. This monstrous sailfish is the talk of fishermen throughout the South Pacific. He is sly and ferocious and swims several times faster than any normal sailfish. Some fishermen tried to catch this monster, but they fell victim to his attacks. He is called Gungnir after a magic spear in Norse mythology. Giant trevally. A gargantuan fish that dwarfs its cousin, the big-eye trevally. It usually lives in and around coral reefs, though when young, it may make its way into freshwater rivers. The adult fish tends to leave its shoal and go it alone. It feeds on small fish, crustaceans, and cephalopods. Large head, hairtail. Its long, sleek, silver body resembles a sword. It has no scales and is covered in a silvery substance called guanine. This fish is notable for its curious way of swimming. It treads around in the water, its eyes pointed upward to look for prey. It lives in shoals on the seabed. Weedy stingfish. This fish lives a benthic lifestyle and is generally found hiding in reefs. It has many spines on its bright, red and orange body, and these spines are actually venomous. The venom is still dangerous even after the fish has died. Thanatos. This enormous gray-spotted puffer. This pufferfish has light green coloring along its back. It is known to migrate to freshwater areas, perhaps so it can use the osmotic pressure of freshwater to remove parasites from its body. Like other pufferfish, it is not a strong swimmer and likes to burrow in the sand. Giant mottled eel. This fish is larger and thicker than many other eels, with unique markings. It is carnivorous and preys on a wide range of crustaceans and fish. Although it does migrate to deep waters for spawning, it doesn't range as far as the Japanese eel. Oscar. Among the freshwater fish of the world, this fish is one of the most popular. This is likely thanks to the wide variety of body colors and patterns that it can have. With a lifespan of 8 to 10 years, this fish is traded the world over because of selective breeding and active farming. Smallmouth bass. This freshwater fish is just as popular as its largemouth cousin among bass anglers. It is carnivorous and preys on a variety of small fish and crustaceans, which can have big effects on the ecosystem. While the largemouth bass prefers warm, still water, this species can adapt and invade cold and flowing waters. Ocellated snakehead. This carnivorous freshwater fish has brightly colored, eye-shaped spots on a lovely turquoise body. Due to its metallic shine, graceful swimming, and fair size, many enthusiasts specialize in breeding it. Tiger-striped catfish. This bottom-dwelling, nocturnal fish stays at the bottom of the river during the day but actively swims around to feed at night. The coloration and pattern on its body are very similar to a tiger, and its face is characterized by its beady eyes, long trailing barbels, and the way it stretches out in front. The tip of its tail fin is long and thin. Elephant nose fish. This fish possesses an organ in its caudal peduncle, which it uses to generate a weak electromagnetic field to detect food and obstacles in the dark muddy waters it calls home. The origin of its name comes from the nose-looking part of its face. This is actually part of its lower jaw. Compared to the size of its body, it has an especially large brain, and research suggests it has the highest brain-to-body oxygen use ratio of any known vertebrates. Lady Dorothea. A mutated sturgeon that has become the stuff of legend in some waters. It is estimated to be over 100 years old, but little else is known about this rarely sighted specimen. Caviar made from sturgeon eggs is widely considered a delicacy, putting this and other sturgeon species at risk of exploitation and other threats. Fox yacapeaver. This fish has a rounded tail and a fine speckled pattern on its body. It does look similar to the banded yacapeaver, but its wider body and white, narrower tail edge set it apart. It prefers to live in reef areas, dining on crustaceans and small fish. Singular bannerfish. This fish can easily be identified by its alternating white and black pattern and elongated dorsal fin. It also has a small protrusion above its eyes. The length of a young bannerfish's dorsal fin is about the same as the height of its body, distinguishing it from other fish. Spiny-toothed parrotfish. The color of this small fish species varies from green to dark brown to almost gray, but it can be identified by the pink lines running from its eyes to its mouth, and the pattern of white dots on its body. There can sometimes be dark spots next to the pectoral fins. It mainly eats seaweed. Pacific herring. This fish migrates in cold waters. When it is time to spawn, it does so in large groups, turning the nearby waters cloudy white. When young, it will form into schools in shallow water and then move with its school to deep water for several years. Polka dot stingray, pink. This polka dot stingray has what can only be described as an adorable pink pattern on its body. Due to a genetic mutation, all of the parts of the stingray that are usually black have changed to pink. As this species is already well regarded for its appearance, this peculiar variation could become a real sensation. Striped sea perch. One of the largest members of the surf perch family, reaching up to 40 centimeters in length. The sides of its body are flat, giving it a similar shape to a sea bream, and its dark scales are lined with beautiful stripes. It's mainly found in areas with lots of kelp, and it is a carnivore, subsisting on shellfish. Spot fin. Barred knifejaw. A hulking, carnivorous fish with 7 thick stripes across its white body. As the fish matures, the stripes fade, with females turning silver and males turning black. It is often found on shallow reefs and is a bit clueless when it comes to predators. Its diet includes shellfish and sea urchins. McCosker's flasher wrasse. A member of the Parachelinus family with a long, thread-like filament poking out from its dorsal fin. Its body is bright red with lines running along the sides, and the delicate designs on its outstretched fins make it popular as an aquarium fish. Razorfish. This species is noted for swimming in a vertical pose with its head downward. It looks more like a floating object than a fish, and is often mistaken for seaweed. When it senses danger, it can flip horizontal and escape at considerable speed. Blue discus. This species has an attractive, metallic blue luster and is popular as an aquarium fish. Fish in the discus genus come in a variety of colors, and each has its own name. Not all of these colors have occurred naturally, many have been achieved by selective breeding. Japanese smelt. This small freshwater fish lives in schools and feeds on zooplankton and fish eggs. It is preyed upon by large fish and birds. During the spawning season, some schools migrate up rivers, and some descend to the sea. The species is highly adaptable to water quality. Rosy bitterling. This fish's name comes from the crimson color that males take on during mating season. It lays its eggs in bivalves and becomes fiercely territorial at this time. While the juvenile eats zooplankton, older fish feed on algae. Populations of this fish are declining rapidly, and it is now considered an endangered species. Pale chub. This species is found in various freshwater bodies, from rivers and canals to lakes and marshes. The dapples of pink on its body make it a popular aquarium fish. It is an omnivore, sustaining itself on a variety of algae, insects, and benthic organisms. During breeding season, males of the species change color. Cherry trout, ocean. In Japan, this fish has two different names based on whether or not it migrates to the open ocean after spawning in inland rivers. This variant, which returns from the ocean to rivers during its breeding season, has been called the sakura masu thanks to cherry blossom season coinciding with when it can be caught. Giant freshwater stingray. This fish is the largest freshwater stingray in the world, with some measuring over 4 meters in length and weighing in at over 300 kilograms. It uses its ampullae of Lorenzini, which sense weak electrical currents, to detect prey, and can attack its prey or defend itself using the venomous stinger in its tail, though it does not actively attack people. Unfortunately, as it is used for a variety of purposes, it is on the brink of extinction. Argentinian silverside. This freshwater fish prefers to swim in schools near the surface. It is recognizable by the silvery white line running across the center of its body. It feeds not only on plankton but also on aquatic insects and small shrimp. During its breeding season, it tends to lay its eggs on plants growing in the water. Big-scaled redfin. A large freshwater fish found in rivers. In spring, it changes to its nuptial coloration, meaning 3 vermilion lines appear on its body. It is an omnivore that eats a varied diet of algae and insects. Dorado. This large freshwater fish has a beautiful golden-colored body, though its glow can vary from one member of the species to another. It is likely that the name of this fish, which means gold, is derived from its appearance. It is a carnivorous fish, preying on birds, frogs, lizards, and insects. Despite its size, it is surprisingly quick, which allows it to dominate the food chain in its habitat. Giant barb. This large, migratory fish lives in freshwater areas and enjoys a plant-based diet of algae, phytoplankton, and fruit. With a dark-colored body that can measure over 3 meters in length, it is the largest member of the order Cypriniformes, and it has been referred to as the king of fish. Unfortunately, due to overfishing and environmental destruction, this species is in danger of becoming extinct. Bighead carp. An important product in aquaculture, this fish has a nearly black body with dark patches scattered across it. It resembles a catfish when viewed from above, and while a related fish, the silver carp, feeds on phytoplankton, this fish prefers zooplankton. Three lips. When it is young, this fish is difficult to tell apart from other species. However, it becomes more distinct when it matures, with drawn-back eyes and a uniquely shaped mouth. During breeding season, the male takes on a nuptial coloration, which is just a subtle reddish tint appearing on its fins. Adult fish are carnivorous and feed primarily on smaller fish. Rainbow snakehead. This snakehead has mottled patterns of bright colors. Its largest specimens are about 20 centimeters long, and it is fairly sturdy, making it a popular aquarium fish that is easy to raise. It is carnivorous, and the adult is territorial. Like the northern snakehead and betta, it can breathe air. Japanese crucian carp. This fast-growing fish mainly eats phytoplankton. The spines attached to its gills are called gill rakers. This species has about 100 more of them than other, similar fish. It lays its eggs in shallow waters, at the base of waterweeds growing there. Because of the declining population of this species, conservation efforts have been undertaken to maintain its numbers. Adonis plico. This fish has a black body adorned with small spots, though the spots fade as the fish ages. It also has spines and hard scales all over its body, as well as a tail fin that is shaped like a crescent with a long, thread-like tip. It's able to attach to walls or rocks using its sucker-like mouth, and it primarily feeds off algae it scrapes from driftwood and rocks. Spotted gar. This species of freshwater gar has a body pattern similar to that of a giraffe. It primarily lives in rivers, lakes, and marshes with slow currents and thick waterweed growth. It possesses a swim bladder that can also function as a lung, and although it has sharp teeth, it typically has a mild temperament. Small in size, its lifespan is usually around 10 years. Nile perch. This large freshwater fish is popular in aquariums. It is silver green and can reach a length of 2 meters. Its size puts it in high demand as a food source, and its voracious appetite makes a big impact on ecosystems. It is loved by anglers for its strength and agility. Clown featherback. This carnivorous fish lives in freshwater environments, and it is closely related to the arowana. It has a distinct curved shape from back to tail and typically seeks out prey at night. As it ages, it may develop patches on its body, though this is not true for every member of this species. Tokyo bitterling. A small, omnivorous freshwater fish. In mating season, the male's breast and abdomen turn vermilion, which is its nuptial coloring, and the female will lay its eggs on several kinds of shellfish. It tends to live in clean water fed by natural springs, but its habitat has been largely destroyed by urban development, and it is now considered an endangered species. Freshwater butterfly fish. This fish has well-developed pectoral fins that can be used to glide over the surface of the water when it is seeking prey or trying to avoid danger. Visually, the fins give the impression of butterfly wings. It also possesses air sacs, which are lined with capillary vessels and allow the fish to breathe oxygenated air. Northern snakehead. This freshwater fish belongs to the blotched snakehead family. It lives in slow-moving freshwater where lotuses and other plants grow. Its mucosal folds have well-developed capillaries, allowing it to breathe in air. This helps it live in warm water with less dissolved oxygen. It is an ambush hunter, but its personality is less ferocious and more wary. Cherry trout, river. In Japan, this fish has 2 different names based on whether or not it migrates to the open ocean after spawning in inland rivers. This variant, which spends its life in freshwater, is nicknamed mountain lady due to its physical presentation and appearance in mountain rivers. Tench. This species lives mainly in still waters where plants grow, rather than in watersheds, and tends to be relatively inactive compared to other fish. Its body, which is olive green on the dorsal side and yellow on the ventral side, is coated in a slimy mucus, much like an eel. Banded archerfish. This fish is distinct for its ability to fire water from its mouth, a skill it uses to swat insects out of the air. Thanks to a narrow, water-emitting groove in its mouth, this fish can hit targets over 1 meter away by pressing its tongue against its upper jaw and vigorously closing its gill slit. Wells catfish. This species of catfish is one of the largest freshwater fish in the world, and it is believed to have a lifespan of more than 30 years. Its body color may vary depending on its habitat. Thanks to its large size, it is very popular with sports anglers. Pyara. This freshwater fish may at first give the impression of a nimble, active swimmer, but it actually prefers to wait for prey to wander too close. Its mouth has two long sharp fangs that peek out from its lower jaw, and it tends to perch in place with its head angled slightly downward, waiting for prey. Forktail bullhead. This freshwater fish can produce a grinding sound using its pectoral fins. It prefers to eat at night and favors a diet of small crustaceans, fish, and benthic organisms. This fish must be handled with care due to the sharp, venomous spines on its pectoral and dorsal fins. Its body is bulky in front of the dorsal fin but tapers off behind it. Umbu pufferfish. The largest pufferfish to appear in freshwater areas, with most living in rivers and a few in lakes. It has a graceful way of swimming, its large tail fin propelling it through the water like a mermaid, and it likes to burrow in the sand. The coarse patterning of the young fish becomes finer as it ages. Its powerful teeth allow it to chew and eat mollusks, insects, and hard-shelled crustaceans. Angelfish. A freshwater tropical fish that lives in rivers. Its dorsal and pelvic fins are very long. This fish earned its name from the way its fins give it an angelic appearance as it gracefully swims. It is somewhat territorial and prefers areas with considerable plant growth. When reproducing, the female will lay eggs in a circle, and then both the male and female will care for them. Betta. This freshwater fish is popular in home aquariums. It has an auxiliary respiratory organ that enables it to expose its face to the surface and breathe air. This is likely due to higher temperatures in its habitat reducing oxygen in the water. The species has been bred extensively to accentuate its beauty. Males are typically larger with longer fins. Red-tail catfish. This striking catfish sports a bright red tail. It is in high demand as an aquarium fish, possibly because of its unique face. However, as it can grow to be quite large, caring for it requires considerable work. It is called pirarara in Brazil, where it can often be found. Zezera. A small fish found in the sandy mud of lakes and rivers. It is demersal, meaning it lives near the floor of bodies of water, where it points its mouth down and eats algae, plants, and detritus that have sunk to the bottom. It tends to act highly territorial during breeding season. Japanese gudgeon. This barbelled fish has a skittish temperament. When startled, it will burrow under the sand and hide. To eat, it sucks sand from the riverbed and consumes the organic matter within, finally ejecting the sand through its gill cover. This unintentional cleaning habit is thought to make it a useful addition to home aquariums. Alligator gar. This large freshwater fish lives in rivers. It possesses floating bladders that are lined with capillaries, allowing it to breathe oxygen. When the oxygen levels in its watery environments decrease, this species is not in danger. As a juvenile, this fish tends to eat small crustaceans and insects, but when it grows up its diet shifts to include other fish as well. Chinese softshell turtle. This omnivorous turtle lives in rivers and ponds, and its jaws are so powerful that some people think of it as a type of monster. Unlike with other turtles, the shell of this species of turtle is soft, elastic, and flat. Another way to easily differentiate this species from others is to note that it has 3 clawed toes compared to the usual 5 of other turtles. Bluegill. This freshwater fish is a strong predator and prolific breeder. It is known for dark spots behind its gills. It preys on insects, crustaceans, and smaller fish, and is hardy enough to live in polluted waters. The parents protect the young after hatching, and the population is durable enough to threaten various ecosystems. Males with high status in the school have red chests. Amur catfish. The body of this freshwater fish is entirely scaleless. Instead, it is covered with a slimy mucus. It also has multiple barbels on its jaw, and a long ventral fin that extends all the way to the tail. It can typically be found living on the muddy bottoms of calm rivers, lakes, marshes, and rice paddies. A male of this species will exhibit a unique behavior during breeding season where it wraps itself around the female, almost like a scarf. Japanese pond turtle. A freshwater turtle that prefers to live in areas with flowing water, such as lakes, rivers, or wetlands. It is an omnivorous species, eating fish, insects, amphibians, shellfish, and weeds. Some people like to keep this species as a pet, but doing so means committing to a long-term relationship since this turtle can live up to 30 years. Giant devil catfish. This daunting, gigantic catfish can grow to over 2 meters in length. Some cultures have given it nicknames like devil man-eating catfish or messenger of God thanks to its impressive size. Its body is a yellowish-brown with dark patterns, and it has pointed, shark-like teeth. The barbels on its face are thick and wide. In fact, they are wider than those of most other catfish. Japanese hukin. This fish has a fine speckled pattern covering its entire body. It does not die after spawning, and in fact can live for about 17 years. This makes it one of the longest-lived salmonids, though it also grows and matures more slowly compared to related species. Its diet consists primarily of other fish and waterborne insects. Ayu sweetfish. This freshwater fish migrates mainly in rivers and can smell of cucumber or watermelon. It feeds on zooplankton, as well as moss that grows on rocks and the like. It can be both territorial and gregarious. It lives for roughly a year, dying shortly after it reproduces. Kokanee salmon. Kokanee salmon and sockeye salmon are closely related, though there are some important differences between them. For one, a kokanee salmon is smaller than a sockeye salmon. Additionally, while a sockeye salmon will eventually migrate out of its freshwater environment and into the ocean, a kokanee salmon will spend its entire life in freshwater lakes and rivers, even reproducing there. Siberian taimen. This large salmonid is similar in size to the Japanese huchin and is very popular among sports anglers. Its diet consists not only of other fish, but also of reptiles, birds, or mammals, should they venture into the flowing rivers that it inhabits. During its spawning season, the body of a male will change to a reddish color. Pacific redfin. A relative of the big-scaled redfin, this fish is slightly larger than its cousin, and its nuptial coloration gives it only one vermilion line as compared to that species' 3. It can live in either freshwater areas, such as rivers, or in the ocean, and it is a carnivore, eating shellfish and insects. Piraiba catfish. This giant freshwater catfish has black spots, which fade as it grows, along its body, as well as long barbels. Unlike other catfish, which tend to have large, rounded bodies, this species has a relatively sleek body shape. It is a fierce carnivore that prefers to live in flowing waters. Japanese 8-barbel loach. This fish has a gentle, serene face that is bristling with 4 pairs of barbels. It lives a fairly lethargic life on the muddy bottoms of calm, marshy rivers. It has a red or brown body, and when it is spawning it lays sticky eggs. Red Gara. This fish has earned the nickname Dr. Fish thanks to its tendency to, upon encountering a human in water, consume any dead skin on the person's body. For this habit, and considering that it is able to survive in waters as warm as 37 degrees Celsius, this fish has even been employed in hot springs. Fortunately for the person involved, this fish does not have any teeth and instead consumes its food using a suction cup-like mouth. Kanahira. The largest member of the Japanese bitterling family. An omnivore, it subsists on aquatic plants, aquatic insects, and crustaceans. During mating season, males of the species change color to a bright blue-green or pink. While other species of Japanese bitterling are in decline, this fish's population has held relatively strong over the years. Great blue-spotted mudskipper. A small fish with blue and white spots that hides in burrows at night and emerges when the sun is high. A tidal flat resident, it feeds on diatoms and benthic algae, shaking its head from side to side while it does so. When courting, it leaps around with its dorsal fins spread out and its mouth open wide. Green swordtail. This fish gets its name from the way the male of the species has a tail fin that partially extends like a sword. It has a metallic green, glossy body, and the lines on it are a very distinct feature. It also is easy to keep as a pet in a tank, so the species has many admirers. There are also many active breeders, so the species has variations with different body colors and long dorsal or tail fins. Black arowana. In its juvenile stage, this fish is typically black with yellow stripes, but its body turns silver as it grows into an adult. As a result, this fish looks similar to the silver arowana as an adult, though it does have a different body and fin coloration, and is generally smaller overall. It has one of the longest lifespans, usually ranging between 10 and 15 years, of any freshwater fish that can be kept in an aquarium. Japanese crayfish. This crayfish has been losing population in recent years as its habitat shrinks. It prefers clean, cold waters with burrows to hide in. It is omnivorous, eating primarily small fish and detritus. It is brownish in color, and not quite as long as the Louisiana crawfish, with a thick body and large, rounded claws. Oscar, green. A very uncommon type of Oscar, it has a white body with green patterns. While Oscars are known for their dark, cosmic-colored bodies and scattered red patterns, the body of this one clashes completely with that. Such mysterious, ethereal colors will likely continue to fascinate enthusiasts. Gilded catfish. This giant catfish prefers to live in fast-flowing waters. It has large, slightly rounded fins and an appetite so intense it is said to eat anything it can fit into its mouth. In fact, it has been called man-eating because of stories claiming human bones have been found in its stomach long ago. Largemouth bass. This freshwater fish is also called black bass in some places. It is a carnivore, preying on fish, crustaceans, insects, and even birds and rodents. It is such a voracious eater that imports of this fish are banned in several regions because of the harm it can do to ecosystems. Piraraku. This fish, which has been around for more than 100 million years, is considered a living fossil thanks to how little its appearance has changed over that time. It is able to breathe using either its gills while underwater or, when it lifts its head above the surface, the special gas bladder it has. Although it is carnivorous, it only eats small fish and doesn't directly attack humans. That said, there are reports of people being injured or even boats being damaged from contact with their huge bodies. Green sturgeon. This fish is characterized by a single row of between 1 and 4 bony plates. Its body, which is typically colored in shades of green, has been recorded growing up to almost 3 meters in length. It prefers to live a demersal life in freshwater environments. Polka dot stingray. This carnivorous fish is black with white dots and can grow to be around 70 centimeters long. It is one of a number of rays that live in freshwater areas such as rivers, and has a venomous stinger in its tail. Its beautiful patterns make it a popular aquarium fish. Because it is ovoviviparous, it is born to closely resemble its parents. Cut-tailed bullhead. This member of the Bagridae family prefers clean, cold water habitats, and is capable of producing a rasping sound by making use of its pectoral fins. While omnivorous, it primarily preys on small insects and benthic fish at night. During the day, it prefers to stay out of sight under rocks and stones. Like many other catfish, it has venomous spines on its fins and should be handled with extreme care. Dwarf pygmy goby. A minuscule fish that, when matured, is usually less than 2 centimeters long. Shoals of this species can be found in brackish waters and low salinity freshwater areas. It has a pattern of black spots all over its white body. Unlike other gobies, it is not demersal. It eats zooplankton. Reed fish. This fish has a fine, mesh-like pattern covering its entire body. It also has hard, diamond-shaped scales, known as ganoid scales, and 10 finlets make up its dorsal fin. It is a member of the Polypteridae family of fish, and it prefers to live in rivers or lakes with slow currents. Ginbuna. This fish is gynogenetic, meaning reproduction does not require DNA contribution from a male. As such, most members of the species are born female. Reproduction does require sperm, but it can come from another species, such as carp. Through this process, the newborn fish receives no traits from its male parent, but is born looking exactly like its mother. Diplocolus. This amphibian, with a body length somewhere between 60 and 90 centimeters, lived during the Permian period. Its head looked somewhat like a boomerang, although this feature was not present in juveniles of the species. It had upward-facing eyes and small, fine teeth, suggesting that this creature lived primarily a benthic life. Red-bellied piranha. This small, dangerously carnivorous fish will eat not only fish, insects, crustaceans, and birds, but also algae and even fruit. It is timid by nature, but if it catches a scent of blood, it and other members of its species will attack its prey together. Despite its small size, this fish will pursue even tough meat with vigor. Murray cod. A thick freshwater fish that lives in certain rivers. It is extremely popular with sports anglers thanks to its strong pull. For a time there was concern that its popularity had caused its numbers to decline. but catch and release rules and other efforts allowed the population to recover. Coliba. This fish is believed to have existed since the Devonian period, and to have remained largely physically the same from then until the modern era. It looks vaguely like a dinosaur. The many, pointed dorsal fins on its back reinforce this appearance, and could be considered a living fossil. Umbu pufferfish, green. This freshwater pufferfish has developed a unique pattern on its body. The delicate pattern appears arabesque, and it seems to provide a level of camouflage for this fish in algae-filled freshwater areas. The moss-like color also is likely to help this fish use the shadows of rocks to hide from predators. Colosuchus. This freshwater amphibian, recognizable by its distinctive, spade-shaped head, lived during the Cretaceous period. It was a massive 5 meters in length but only around 30 centimeters tall, giving it a generally flat body. Scientists believe it preyed on fish, crustaceans, and even small dinosaurs, likely using its large mouth to suck them in. Ichthyostoga. This creature lived in the late Devonian period, coexisting with the Acanthostoga. It is believed to have had a body measuring between 1 and 1.5 meters in length, and thanks to its well-developed ribs, it was able to leave the water and venture onto land without issue. Possibly carnivorous, this amphibian likely moved back and forth between land and water, though it was undoubtedly less dexterous on land than modern amphibians. Basking shark. This is the second largest shark after the whale shark. A slow plankton eater, it is not aggressive toward humans, though it is known for its large, usually open mouth, which can be alarming. It is a social fish, often forming small groups, but occasionally much larger groups of up to 1,400 individuals. Large-scale blackfish. A fish that may be dark gray or a vivid blue-green color. It has a thin upper lip and lacks any distinctive patterns on its body. This species lives in shallow waters near reefs, and it is highly omnivorous, feeding on crustaceans as well as algae. All targets have been scanned and the mission is complete. Well done. Transmission from HQ. A very large source of strange biometric signs has been detected above the water. Sending drone footage. This footage shows the area in question. Birds appear to be flying in, and the source of the biometric signs is descending. A large species of bird flew in from the surface. Could this be the creature we've been detecting? Is it the leader of the flock? It appears that the creature is on the move. Readings indicate it has exceptional swimming abilities. We need to collect additional data on it. Get close and try to scan it. Transmission from HQ. Additional UML data received. A close examination of the collected data will be conducted. It appears that this species is closely related to pelicans, but there have been no cases of such a large creature reported elsewhere, so it seems likely the creature is unique to this area. HQ has decided that this creature will be called Simurgh Daria, in reference to a mythological bird. It is possible that this species acts as the leader of the other nearby seabirds. The name is appropriate for the head of a group. We believe that if we continue to observe its behavior, we may better understand this species' way of life. Simurgh Daria. One of the unique species only found in the Veiled Sea. The appropriate classification of this species is still under investigation, though it is believed to be a species of pelican, albeit a large one. Due to its size, it has a somewhat overwhelming presence. It has shown itself to be a remarkable diver and is believed to be able to stay underwater for extended periods of time thanks to its large body. It seems to travel with a small cohort of smaller pelicans, suggesting that it fills a leadership role of some kind. It has also been observed spitting its young out of its mouth and encouraging them to work. Whether this species is protecting its group's territory or using its young to provide food for itself is not yet clear. I am Sarah, your Survey, Exploration, and Research Assistant AI, and I'm here to support you both for today's dive. You've been asked to go to the world coral in the canyon. On the contrary, with Aegis researchers having collected so much light, HQ believes there has been an upturn in the coral's condition. You're simply being asked to go and confirm. Yes, it is healing, but still weak. HQ anticipated this might be the case. A recent study found that light alone may not be enough to restore the world coral. The problem lies with the geological veins, a network of underground rivers deep within the ocean floor. These veins carry groundwater from one place to another, but they also provide energy to the world coral. With the upheavals in local terrain, there are now breaks in the geological veins, so it's like a tree that is losing strength through its roots. Yes. A fairly common phenomenon. Other researchers have reported terrain change disturbances during UML encounters. What does that have to do with the geological veins? Are you saying that the presence of the UML led to activity in the veins? It's true that unidentified marine life tend to radiate more energy than other living things. Perhaps a UML could activate the flow of nearby geological veins. As implausible as your theory is, it may be worth looking into. It could be our only hope for reviving the world coral.